Game art and animation. I have a very big soft spot for the work that goes into game art and animation, as you'll come to see, and I'm sure many of you do too. I was a part of the first generation to be born into video games, and we've seen advances beyond our comprehension into graphics, ray tracing, and shaders that look better than life. Because of this, we're also the first generation that gets to choose stylization rather than be forced into it. We can date back our graphics on purpose, or even design engines to specifically run specific types of dated or stylized graphics. Unfortunately for someone like me, I don't have the time to make my own engine, or really even know where to begin. For game creation, Unreal Engine is my go-to and has been my best friend for years. Unreal, however, has an issue. Built-in lighting systems and natural-made shaders and post-processing that work to make every Unreal game realistic, unfortunately work to make every Unreal game realistic. 2D games are almost impossible to make look beautiful in Unreal due to what I like to call the Unreal feel. The natural, beautiful, almost floaty feeling that Unreal gives to all its games running out of its engine. I love 2D games, but Unreal simply cannot compete with engines where you get to actually choose, like Unity or the up-and-coming Godot. It's because of this that I've been considering making games in another engine, and losing thousands of hours I've been working in Unreal. Until I came up with an idea. Hi. My name is Dylan Scott Mutersbaugh. I'm majoring in game programming, game design, and what I'll mainly be talking about today, game art and animation. This is Ground Up. Now, Ground Up may not look like much right now, but this is where the magic happens. First, I'd like to introduce one of the foundational keys in making a game look 2D or stylized, the pixelator filter. With this filter, we can take everything put on screen and simply divide it. Using this function, we can specifically divide by the user's own inputted resolution. This way, the pixels stay square. And with all the parameters being public, all post-processing materials instances make the materials extremely easy to apply to the camera and adjust in every way possible. One main issue with this style of pixelation is that it's simply putting a filter over the camera. This style of shader works with coloring, but not completely with pixelation. However, in some cases where the user would like 3D assets to look like their actual sprites, we need to do some magic. Thanks to a YouTuber that goes by Lord Kevip, I now have the code and processes that makes this all possible. Kevip found that by taking an orthographic perspective, taking a snapshot of it, printing this out into a widget, dividing it into a grid, and then moving our main camera along this grid, we can achieve making everything look like it's a sprite that was made in a 2D engine. With this, we no longer have to render out 3D characters into 2D images and then disable the lighting to achieve this effect, an effect used in games such as Dead Cells, where the character is secretly 3D. It is subtle, but by pressing P, we can see how this grid is created and smooths out how all objects look in the scene. With Kevip's permission, I'm now using the Smooth Pixel Perfect camera to aid my shaders in achieving this 2D stylized effect. I even added several resolutions to his model to give users more variety when creating their game, and I even have a tutorial on my channel, D.S.FEBRUARY, for how to make your own. Now that we have a base to work off of, or even if we're not using the pixel shader, we can now start using the scene color to our advantage. By applying the color shaders instance to the post process, we now have control over color depth, hue shift, saturation, and also color tinting. Here are some examples of combinations we can do with just this shader. This next shader works extremely well with every other shader I've worked on, the cloud shader. This time, we instead apply the shader directly to a directional light instead of a post-process. For these cloud shaders, I have a more realistic cloud, a more stylized simple cloud, a cloud that I like to say looks like a lava lamp, an underwater cloud, and even an example to make your own. And of course, all these are completely adjustable to your own liking. Now, a cell shader is commonly used in games looking to make an anime shader, or even just flatten the color of the image to make it seem more like it's drawn or hand-colored. In Ground Up, we have a 2-tone, a 4-tone, an 8-tone, and ironically the most useful for 2D graphics, the 1-tone solid color shader. Some other examples of what's included in Ground Up is the dithering shader, the outline shader, the negative outline shader, completely based off of what current color the object is, and finally the painting shader, that displaces all objects based on a texture that you yourself can choose. Now that I've shown you what you're working with, here's what you can do. Here are a few of the thousands of possibilities currently available in Ground Up, with many more shaders to come. Here are even a few test levels I made of some of my favorite stylized games. by trying to recreate at least the shading they use inside of my own project. Later, I plan on adding vignettes, foliage presets, more types of outlines including colored outlines, more painted shaders, more types of pixelators, more dithering shaders, and so much more. GroundUp is a collection of shaders, materials, light functions, templates, and more that each work in tandem with one another to craft a style that caters to any game developer looking to escape the Unreal feel. GroundUp dabbles in pixelation filters, stylized dithering, cell shading, color depth, outlines, and even a painting shader that each serve to aid in game development by at least giving developers a place to begin their journey. GroundUp doesn't remove the need for talented artists either. It simply gives them a head start on their game art quest. GroundUp is my way of giving artists, designers, and programmers in Unreal the chance I didn't have when starting out. Now you may be wondering when this is all available, and after a lot of work and finalizing, GroundUp is available as of right now on the Unreal Engine's new marketplace, Fab, and will continue to receive updates at least once a month from this day forward. That's all for today. Thank you so much.